But yeah, there was 5 questions that he was talking about last week. I guess I'll go over it real quick before. The 5 questions were, are you willing to follow Christ if it means losing some of your closest friends? Are you willing to follow Jesus if it means loss of your reputation? Are you willing to follow Jesus if it means losing your job? Are you willing to follow Jesus if it means losing your life? So, hearing him say that last week, I never really thought about it, but in a way, I kind of went through all this without really expecting to go through all this. And I don't know, so starting with the first question, are you willing to follow Christ if it means losing some of your closest friends? Well, I know when I first started my walk with Christ, I definitely lost a lot of friends that I knew from since I was yay high. I wasn't really social with a lot of people from school. I just knew who I knew from home, a lot of family members. I grew up in a lot of rough family and rough friends that we grew around. I didn't really have much of a choice. It just kind of grew up that way. I just ended up being like everyone else in my family. And so yeah, I eventually met a couple people in high school, and then eventually led me to here. Thank you, Robin. And so as I started my walk with Christ, definitely a lot of people were like, "Lewis, you're changing." I was like, "Yeah, I know," but as I got further into it, I realized God had a different plan for me, and didn't want me hanging around bad influences. So I eventually stopped caring about what they thought, and then eventually just told them, "Look, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. I'm done with the whole gang stuff. I'm not going to be selling drugs." And I kind of just stopped hanging out with them. I don't know what they're doing now. A couple of them still obviously come to my house because they're basically like family. My brothers, they all know them. And I still have to deal with that, but they all know, they respect that. And then, so I'm not worried about it because God wouldn't take something away from you if He wasn't planning on blessing you back 10 times more. Because I lost a lot of good friends that I thought were good, but really weren't good. And I was blessed with everyone who's sitting here right now. It was probably lost about 10 friends. It's 50 people here. I care about all of you, even if I don't know your name. So, but yeah, I consider all you guys blessings. And the next question was, are you willing to follow Jesus if it means alienating yourself from your family? Now, this is the struggle that I've always had from when I first started going through here, and I still have that struggle now. My family now, it's a little more intense now, seeing how, my dad just got out of jail, and it was really easy whenever he got in. I'm not going to say, I'm glad he went there, but I know when he came out, he definitely saw, things were going to be different. And, I don't really associate much with my family anymore. I took, a long break from them. When I did get home from wherever I was at, I was never really home. I tried to be out as much. And, I really just stay in my room all day. And then listen to worship music, read my Bible, and then I usually just go out to eat, work out, talk to my mom. I've actually been ministering to my dad the past couple days. So anyways. I know I'm not the only one here that was born, that wasn't lucky enough to be born into a family that's foundation was built around Christ. If you were, that's great. I'm not saying anything bad, oh, you're lucky, that's nothing. My family made their decisions, and this is what came out. And it's not impossible to give your life to Christ. It's really not. No matter what your situation at home is, honestly, it's not impossible at all. Really, the first step is really just giving your life to Him and just accepting Him into your heart. It's really that's just the first big step. And get into His Word and just apply it to your everyday life and expect change, definitely. And next question, are you willing to follow Jesus if it means the loss of your reputation? Your reputation on earth doesn't really mean much. I mean, your whole life on earth is really just preparation for heaven. When you think about it, like, you can refer it to like as when you get a new job, you know, you got to go through training for a week, like Jake is right now. You know, except God, He's so giving. He gives you your whole life to prepare for heaven. You know, He's not gonna be like, all right, you gotta give your life to Jesus now. You gotta do this real quick so then you can get in heaven. No, it's not like that. You got your whole life to do what you have to do. Realize that what changes needs to be made, and literally just do it. You know, He gives you plenty of time, so there's really no reason to worry about your reputation here, because once you get to heaven, it's all gone. You know, God's not gonna remember all the people you hang out with, all the, oh, I punched that guy in the face, you saw that? That was cool. No, He's not going to care. You know, He's gonna remember the good things that you did, the things that you did in your community, the lives that you changed, hearts that you touched. That's going to be your reputation in heaven. So it would be a good thing if you got started on that as soon as possible. The fourth question. Alright, this question doesn't relate to me much, because I don't have a job right now, but are you willing to follow Jesus if it means losing your job? And yeah, this doesn't involve me much, but I've had jobs in the past and done things to make money, and I know that was one of the first things that I had to change when I began my life with Christ. Because, you know, in Timothy 6:10 it says, for the love of money is the root of all evils. You know, everyone knows that. But also, if you look at Matthew 18:8, it says, if your hand or foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. So if your job is getting in between your relationship with God, and then if it's not allowing you to move forward in your walk with Christ, then He doesn't want that in your life, and you shouldn't either. So, are you willing to follow Jesus if it means losing your life? Kind of a harsh question, but it's not literal. You know, God had your life planned out from the second you were born. So, He wants you to, however long it takes you to realize that. You know, from the minute that you realize that it's all part of God's plan, you really just have to leave behind everything that once made you that person you are. Because, you know, God, He wants to change you, but He's not going to change you until you fully deny yourself and give everything, forget about everything, because, you know, there's really nothing, like, you don't know what needs to be changed. Well, some things you know that needs to be changed, but sometimes there's other things where you're just like, all right, God, I don't know what I need to do, but all I know is I want to live for You. I want to help people. I want to do what's right. So just help me take out everything that's in my past. Help me break free from these chains. I don't want to remember it all. Like, just allow me to do what I have to do. And, you know, I've changed so much in the past year that I've been going here, and you know, I don't ever plan on stop changing. I didn't even summer, but I don't ever plan on staying the way I am. Like, even right now, like, I'm not gonna be the person I was a year ago. I'm not gonna be the person I was a couple months ago, weeks ago, days ago. I'm not even gonna be the person I was 5 minutes ago. Because, you know, I'm always constantly gonna be changing. Like, people tell me now, like, wow, Lewis, you're completely different. Like, yeah, and then I'm just going to get more different because, you know, God is still working through my life. And I'm still constantly denying myself. Even before I came up here, you know, I had to tell God, like, look, before I go up there, I want to, you know, whatever is left, just take it. Like, I'm done trying to impress other people. I'm done trying to live for society. I'm done with all that. Like, it's not important. God knows what's important, and God knows what He wants you to do. You know, change is good with God. And change isn't good with anything else. If you're trying to change for a person, if you're trying to change for a job, if you're trying to change for your family, it's not good. The only person you should be changing for is God. Because it's always going to come out way better than what you expect, and it's never going to be what you think is going to be. But that's the end of the questions. So I'm just going to end it off by saying, you know, everyone here has a purpose. Like, I know, like, it's not coincidence that you're sitting here right now. It's not just because your friend invited you or however you ended up here. It's not a coincidence. You're here for a reason, and God wants to use you. And you're lucky that you're sitting in a place full of people that love and care about you. Like, you know, you can come to anyone here, and we'll always try to help you out. Like, if you're lost, just, you know, like, if you're driving down a highway and you don't know where you're going, and you're just like, where the heck am I going? You're not going to keep driving and end up more lost. End up in Miami or wherever we were during worship day. I don't even know. You know, you're going to pull over and you're going to ask for directions. And if you're here, sitting here now, and you're lost, like, come to one of us. Come to Gio, come to me, come to Jake. Like, we love and care about every person here. Like, we want to lead you. Like, our purpose here is not to change you, because that's what God is here for. But we will definitely lead you and point you to His arms. That's all we want to do.